Okay, so this is my valedictorian speech, so some of it doesn't apply, but bear with me. For those of you who don't know me, I'm the nerd who was chosen to give you the long, boring valedictorian speech you're obligated to listen to. For those of you who do know me, you know that I have never spoken in front of a crowd before, so this will be an interesting experience for us all. I have learned two extremely valuable lessons from my experiences in high school. The first is that life waits for no one. This lesson has shown up multiple times throughout my 17 years, but never has it been demonstrated so starkly as this senior year. As many of you know, soccer has been a part of my life for a very long time. Out of all the important days senior year brings, I was most looking forward to my senior night for soccer. Soccer has consistently been my outlet for expressing pent-up emotions, my safe place when everything in my world was going wrong, my home away from home, and where I found the strongest sense of belonging I have ever felt. Before senior year, soccer had given me plenty of bouts of anxiety, but through a lot of mental work, I had been able to mostly overcome it. Soccer then became one of the few places in my life where I could get out of my head. I was so excited for my senior season because I had finally become comfortable with myself on the field. I felt like I had earned both playing and being celebrated at my senior night. When the season began, I was honored to be captain. I had the most amazing co-captain and such a strong bond with so many of my teammates that many felt like sisters to me. I played almost every minute of each game, and we were winning them too. We even won our first district game. With all of these developments, I don't think I could have been more excited for senior night. And then my foot and my knee disagreed on which way to go during an easy game. All it took was an ear-splitting pop for what I had imagined for my last season to come crashing down around me. No more games, no more walking, much less running. A completely ruptured ACL, sprained MCL and LCL, fractured kneecap, and meniscus tear. No more soccer for at least a year. I felt like my favorite part of myself died that night. I truly liked my soccer self. I had spent a good chunk of the last 9 years on that field. I almost couldn't remember who I was without soccer. I liked staying in the haze that pain medication put me in. I didn't want to think about what I had lost. It was one of the darkest times of my life. I was trapped in my head, crammed in right along with grief and anger, but now with no outlet. I still went to most of the games and practices I could. I even crutched up the cheese wagon a couple of times. I sat on the sidelines and watched my teammates do the thing that I loved most in the world. As a captain, I believe you should put your team before yourself. Just because I had gotten hurt did not give me an excuse to abandon my team. I loved them. I still needed to be a leader. That being said, and this sounds awful, I desperately wanted soccer season to end. My grief was raw, and it was like salt in the wound every single time I went to a practice or game. I was so tired of trying to put on a happy face when my heart was aching. So, Charlie, you're probably asking yourselves, what does this pity party have to do with any of these valuable lessons I've learned? Here it is. As I've mentioned previously, life waits for no one. Life is going to happen whether you are prepared or not, whether you expect it or not, whether you want it to or not. So as cliche as it sounds, take advantage of it. Live each day like it might be your last. If I knew I was going to die tomorrow, I would make sure to leave with no regrets. Take those chances, order those tickets. Try that hobby everyone says is stupid. If you do everything in your power to walk away with no regrets, I would say that's a life fulfilled. For the record, I do not say any of this like I have the answers to life. I don't. I take life for granted as much as y'all do. I chicken out and get scared and put things off until tomorrow. But when I die, I want people to say I was a firecracker, that I lived life to the fullest, that I never took a day for granted. If I would have known high school soccer would have had an earlier expiration date, I would have savored each moment. Don't get me wrong, I adored soccer, but I absolutely took the privilege of being able to play for granted. I just assumed I would play until the season ended. This year taught me that nothing in life is a given. The second lesson I would like to leave you with is that sometimes the curveballs life throws at you are blessings in disguise. It is possible that God's plan for you is better than the one you imagined for yourself. And no, I'm not so Pollyanna that I tell myself I'm glad I was injured, but there was beauty that came out of that pain. This is where senior night comes in. I dreaded it for weeks because I expected to be overwhelmed with grief, but when senior night came, I wasn't. It was maybe the most profound sense of love and support that I have ever had the privilege of feeling. 2 little girls that I coached came and brought flowers and a handmade poster. All my family came from an hour away. My 2 best friends made me senior baskets. They didn't care that I couldn't play. They didn't care that it was cold and it was a weeknight and they had work the next day. They showed up because it was still my senior night and they loved me. My coaches let me do kickoff. One of my teammates kicked the ball out of bounds so that I would have time to get off the field. Before the game continued, all of my teammates on the field hugged me. Many were crying. I felt so loved in that moment. It didn't matter to them that what brought all of us together in the first place, us playing soccer, was gone for me. My worth was not dependent on my ability to play soccer. That truly meant the world to me. For the longest time after my injury, I had struggled with my faith. Where was God when I had needed him most? I had finally gotten my answer. God was in all my family and friends that came to support me. God was in my coaches who still wanted me to be at everything even though I couldn't play. God was in my teammates that loved me even though I felt like I was broken. I may not have gotten to play my senior night, but God gave me something better, a community that made me feel loved when I had felt alone. There was a silver lining, and there was a light at the end of the tunnel. It just wasn't what I had planned or expected, but it was more meaningful and special than it would have been if it had gone according to my plan. I won't lie and tell you that tearing my ACL was just a blessing in disguise, and it all worked out for the best, because neither is true. It sucked. But what I experienced on senior night was nothing short of magical. I felt God's love through all the people that were there for me. In short, know that when life doesn't go according to your plan, which will inevitably happen, it will be okay. I'm not saying it won't be hard, but it might lead to something beautiful. To see such beauty born out of pain was something I'll remember for the rest of my life. Maybe the moments most precious to us are the ones we never saw coming. Thank you.
To see such beauty born out of pain. A beautiful line, as I said. The good news of Jesus Christ is the truth that an ACL sucks, that the truth is that life can be complicated, frustrating, confusing, and go completely counter to you ever anticipating. And yet out of that can be born the beauty and wonder of life. Thank you so much for sharing, Charlie. Ainsley, will you come?
Good morning. Throughout my life, there have been several instances where I've truly seen God at work. In my family, we call these God moments. Going through the confirmation was definitely a series of God moments for me. I decided to participate in confirmation because I wanted a stronger relationship with God. This year has been a great one filled with milestones, but in the midst of that, I have been struggling with my health. I have cerebral palsy and chronic pain, and my pain has worsened significantly without a known cause. This has been accompanied by extreme fatigue and a surge of my anxiety and depression. At times, I have felt that my personality has been smothered under life's demands on my body. While I am very blessed to have the support of my family and friends, there are instances where I have felt alone because I am the one who has to face my challenges daily. Typically, when I do feel this way, I turn to God in my faith. There doesn't seem to be an answer in sight as to why I'm in pain, so I clung to my faith even tighter. As much as I try to tell myself that God has a plan for me and my pain must be a part of that plan, it was hard to hold on to as I struggled. As someone who has spent all of her 17 years with a physical disability, I have heard everything from everything happens for a reason to God is using you to inspire people, to even God only gives you what you can handle. But with the realization that I've had chronic pain for 8 years and am only getting worse, suddenly people had nothing to say. I pleaded with God, trying to understand. I desperately searched for answers. One of the places I looked was the Bible. I was immediately drawn to the stories of Jesus' miracles. Jesus' ability to heal and cure the sick and disabled fascinated me. I strongly believed that my CP was leading me to God's purpose somehow. So I tried to look in the Bible to find people who also had disabilities. In every instance I found, though, the person was cured of their disease or ailment. This stood out to me because everyone in the Bible was healed, and I was not. After Jesus healed people, he told them to go and spread the word of what had happened. It stuck in my mind that it must be my purpose to help others by telling them that God had helped me overcome my pain. But as my pain never went away, eventually I began to wonder if I had done something to displease God. So when the opportunity arose for me to participate in confirmation, I jumped at the chance. Not only did I want a more personal relationship with God, but I wanted to understand him. I wanted to know how to achieve the specific purpose God designed for me. One of my first questions in confirmation was some variation of, why did God give this pain to me if he is a God who heals? I know that sounds ungrateful, and I don't mean to be. I was grappling with my faith, and I needed to be tethered back to it. In class, we talked at length about why bad things happen. I used to believe that God caused suffering in order to make humanity better. Miss Marcy was really able to dive into that topic with us, and through our discussions, I was reminded that God gives us the gift of free will. Sometimes terrible things happen because of free will, and sometimes things just happen. Maybe this is the case for some of our struggles. I certainly think so for my chronic pain. I no longer believe that God gives us struggles to punish us, because that isn't how the God who I came to know during confirmation works. Instead, I believe that occasionally things just happen and God adapts with us. Do I believe that God gave me cerebral palsy and chronic pain because he only gives me what I can handle? No, I don't. I think I was just born this way. And God is so powerful that he has equipped me and all of us with the capacity to fill our purpose. He doesn't work around our suffering, he works through it. The way Miss Marcy explained it, which I find very helpful, is that God is somewhat like a GPS system. Because of free will and circumstances beyond our control, life can go awry, but with God, we don't go off course. He can always bring us back to the people we were meant to become, much like a GPS reroutes but gets you to your destination in the end. I also believe that God uses these off-course moments to enhance our destination. Growth only comes through hardship, and God knows that. Sure, we may off-road sometimes, but I truly believe it leads to a better path. Thank you.
The embodiment of the very words we proclaimed.